Hey guys, in this video I will show you my official chess rating. There is a Dutch chess federation which is named the KNSB, and there is a international chess federation which is the FIDE, which you are probably familiar with. The official rating I have is only for the KNSB yet. For the FIDE I've played the games, but they have a different way of calculating the ELO, and they have a different way of determining when you are receiving your first official ELO rating. I think for the FIDE you have to play 6 rated games against opponents with ratings, and I've played like 6, but 2 opponents didn't have a rating, so that's why I don't have a rating for the FIDE yet. However, for the KNSB I have a rating of 1871, which is a very nice rating, of course, and yeah, it's very happy with that. And in this video I will show you every single game I've played for the KNSB in this year, and yeah, enjoy. Okay guys, so let's start with this game. This was the first official game for the KNSB that I played. It was against a gentleman which wasn't rated. He also didn't play a lot of chess, I think. He didn't have a rating yet, so maybe he was just a friend of the club or someone that knew, or he was new like I was this year, and it was his first year. I did know that he, afterwards, of course, during the game I didn't know his strength, I didn't know how good he was, but after the game I realized and I saw that he was about 1250 to 1300 ELO in the internal chess club that he played with his rating. So yeah, I realized pretty quickly that I was a little bit better than he was. However, the opening was relatively equal. We got into a Caro-Kann, of course, which yeah, I mean, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I mainly play the Caro-Kann right now. This is the first situation where I am not really happy about how I played this by playing Bishop D7. I don't think Bishop D7 is needed here. So probably a little bit too yeah, overprotective. Computer says Queen A5 check is an idea. E6 is also just decent. Probably even Knight F6. It's a little bit less good than the other two options, but yeah. However, I played Bishop D7, and yeah, we got into a fairly equal situation here. Yeah, this is obviously a relatively known game up until this point. I've played this before. And obviously here I can take this, and if he takes here I can take back like this, which is a big blunder, which he didn't do. So he just took back with the bishop, and then I castled, and here I tempoed the bishop. He retraded, and I played Knight D7, thinking, okay, if he keeps his bishop on that square, I can take it, and I can probably, depending on whether or not he takes with the pawn or with the queen, but I can probably win this pawn in the long run and maybe utilize this open file. But as you can see, it's a pretty equal game up until this point. I think, yeah, material here is equal after this. However, there's one very important thing that is a lot better for black here, is that this dark squared bishop comes to life relatively quickly. If you play something like bishop f6, it eyes this pawn. You can play queen b6. This knight is pretty bad. I mean, it doesn't really have a whole lot of squares to go to. So as you can see, there was already a little bit of a team visible, which shifted towards my favor. And just like I mentioned, this is exactly what happened. And here I traded off these pieces. He played c3, and here I realized something. I realized that this knight is now officially trapped. It can't go back and it can't go forward as long as I keep my bishop onto this diagonal. So I played bishop a7, and my opponent missed the idea completely, so I was able to play b5, and then I was able to win the piece. And here was also another funny trick. If he takes here, there's this, and yeah, now you win the rook too. Didn't happen though, but yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, I think the rest of the game is pretty self-explanatory. We just shuffled around a little bit. I eventually managed to find a construction in which my bishop eyed this b2 pawn, and my rook did too. There's no way to push it because I have a pawn here, so if you do, I can just take. So this pawn is going to fall, and if this pawn falls as well, and these two pawns will run up the board and probably promote. So yeah, at this point my opponent resigned, and I won this first game. Yeah, like I mentioned, Opponent was about 1250, 1300 rated, so I think he played decent, but yeah, just a few minor things that I could take advantage of, and that brought me the win here in this game. So okay guys, so we got the second game in front of us right now. At this point I was feeling pretty confident. I played my first game and I won, and against the second opponent I realized that it was probably not going to be as easy as the first one. And I just played what I always do. I played black here, so I played black again, was the second time of course. Played the Caro-Kann of course, and we got into this structure. Here I played bishop f5, which is already not really super accurate. Although it's a book move according to the computer. My opponent played this line, which is pretty good. And this is already really annoying. This pawn is under attack twice, and this pawn is also under attack. And apparently the best thing to do here is to just play bishop c8 and go back with your bishop, which is something that I don't think anybody does in a classical game. So I played b6, which is an inaccuracy, mainly because of this idea to go and get your bishop in here, and the other idea is to get your light square bishop here. It just evokes a lot of weaknesses around this light squared complex, and it allows the knight to come in for a fork here on c7. So it got very complicated, and I played knight c6. He played e3, which is now a miss apparently. However, I played knight a5, thinking maybe I can get some sort of, I don't know, just to be a little bit annoying. I brought the bishop back, played e6 eventually. He played knight e5, I played bishop e7. As you can see, my position here is already pretty bad. I mean, he has the complete attack here going. Although I am sort of hanging on for some unclear way. Here I should apparently play a6. And after trading, there is knight c6, and here you go knight takes, and then if he takes with the queen, you can probably just castle, or bishop b4 it says. Okay, bishop b4, also an idea. So this was the idea I should have gone for. However, I decided to play knight c4, which is a mistake, because now after taking with the bishop and taking back, there's knight c6, and there's no more knight on a5 to protect the square. So I played queen c8, he took, I took here, and now we got this queen b4 move. And yeah, white is just a lot better here. I mean, there's all sorts of discoveries. There's like pushing and then moving the knight out of the way. There's like my king can't castle. This bishop is really strong. So yeah, very difficult. And I decided to try and do something. I played e5, which is a bit of a crazy move, of course. And he took back with the bishop, which is a little bit of an inaccuracy, because I can take back with my knight. Then I played queen d7, which isn't the best move either. However, my opponent played knight d6, and this is a little bit of a mistake, because now I can trade off and I can play rook c8. And here I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a draw in it for me. However, after taking, he went here, I went here, and for some unclear reason, I decided to take here immediately, which is probably not the best thing to do. The best thing is to play king c6 and to go with a rook and try to take it with the rook. However, one thing I did which was also wrong is I decided to play rook e8 here, which I should not have done. I should have played king e5, and then after taking I can take here. For some reason I thought, okay, if I pin the pawn, he can take with the pawn, he can give a check. However, he can just simply take with the rook, which is something that I missed. And yeah, at this point it was getting very difficult. And although there are still definitely drawing chances in here, it is very difficult now. And here I decided to trade off rooks, which is not good. So instead of going to the d5 square, you should go to d7. And he can still go here probably, and then you can go rook e3. So you have to at least find some sort of counterplay. However, at this point it was already lost completely. And in the end game here, I for some reason also thought that I might have been able to get my pawns through by going here. I thought if he goes, what did I think? I think I thought if he went here for some reason, I could have maybe sneaked my king in and tried to take this pawn. And yeah, I think this is something that I calculated, that if he goes here and if I go here, if he promotes and I go here, it is still very difficult to win this, because I have 2 pawns and I can maybe connect them and promote. However, one thing that I missed completely here is that he can just simply take, and now I only have 1 pawn. So even if this situation occurs, which is what happened, I decided to take here. He promoted with check, which is also a problem. Then I pushed my pawn and he could simply sacrifice his queen and promote another and win the game. So unfortunate about this one, and at that point I had 1 game which I won and 1 game which I lost. After the game, I found out my opponent was rated about 1800, so a very nice rating, of course, and a very strong opponent, and that was something that was definitely clear from the start of the game until the end. He played very solid. I think only mistake that he made was knight d6 here, allowing the pressure to unfold. But other than that, really good and really difficult game. Yeah, and then a few weeks later I played again, and this time I played against a younger kid. I think he was like 15 or something. Also didn't know how good this guy was. Also, yeah, I just didn't know. I played with the white pieces for the first time, so I had a little bit of an advantage. We got into this position here, and here I was already feeling really well. I mean, his knight was pretty bad. His bishop couldn't really develop. This bishop was behind a pawn wall. This knight doesn't really want to go here because it doesn't really do anything, and my queen is here to be annoying. So yeah, I was feeling really well, and then he found c5, which is obviously the only move here. You should try to attack the pawns here, and you should find some way to break through. So I played bishop d5, he moved his king. Now I played f4, which I'm pretty proud of f4, because obviously f4 is a really difficult move to see, because if he takes, I mean, you attack this, and yeah, there's all sort of tricks and stuff, and I'm no longer guarding the d7, the d4 pawn or square, and I can't take the pawn. So yeah, f4. Best move by the Gouda also, which is really nice. And I went knight b5, which isn't the best move. Apparently you should go to e2, I guess. Yeah, e2. So we got into this position, I took, and now he played queen c5, which is a blunder because of this brilliant move. This is the only brilliant move I've played, I think, in an official chess game, classical chess game. Knight x e6, and I was so proud of this move. I was so happy to find this move. I thought, okay, yeah, this is great. I'm going to win this game. There's a sequence that I saw in my head of which I thought it was winning. The funny part is, I did not play the correct line. I did not play the correct line. The line here is takes and then queen h5. And then if he goes here, you can sacrifice your bishop. And this is actually a checkmate because there's no piece to block with. And both of your pieces are attacking the enemy king. So after this, he can block. I think there's nothing he can do. After queen h5, it's just a forced mate. So for some reason I missed this, and I went queen x e6, still winning but not mate, and he played bishop e7, and here I thought, okay, I'm winning because I can play b4, and the point of b4 is if he gives a check, I can simply go knight e2, I can, you know, do whatever, and there's no way to defend this except for like this, and then I can just take, and I was like, okay, I'm winning, doing very well. However, I missed one move after b4, which is knight f8, the only move to win the game here for black, or at least keep the advantage. So what I have to do here is I have to trade everything off, and now I have to play an endgame in which I'm slightly worse, because I'm down a minor piece for 2 pawns. So yeah, I mean, very difficult to win this, and yeah, I was a bit mad that I couldn't find the continuation, even after finding a brilliant move. However, I decided to shuffle some pieces around. I got into a very cramped, very difficult position here, and yeah, here it was already really difficult to play. However, I was doing very well. I decided to take with the knight on d4, however, which was not the best move. However, he played knight d5, which wasn't the best move. Yeah, as you can see, we didn't find all the best moves here and there. f5 is an idea, not the best move, but it is okay, according to the computer. And now I found c4, which is a very important move, because c4 is the only winning move here. Because after c4, you have to probably, the idea was if you move this knight anywhere, let's say you move the knight here, I can go take this rook, I think. Or maybe check first. Yeah, check first and then take the rook. So you can move the knight really, and yeah, that's just a winning idea. And he took the pawn, I took this, he took here, now I gave this check, and then I took this, and as you can see here, this is guarded by this, and you can't take the rook, you can't take the knight, you can only take this pawn. So this intermezzo, this rook e3 move is very good, of course, because now I win a full rook instead of trading. And yeah, at this point I was doing very well, and I offered a rook trade, and that's where my opponent decided to resign. After the game, I found out this opponent was rated about 1550, I believe. So also not a bad player at all. Definitely a lot lower than the opponents I've played, than the opponent I played in the game before, which was like 1850, 1830. Still very nice to get the win, although I could have finished this game a lot earlier. And for the fourth game I've played for the KNSB, I played against another guy that was rated about 1730, I think, 1700. Maybe 1650, 1680 or something. At least a decent player, better than the last one, and also noticeable because it was a difficult game very much, very equal, and as you can see, very symmetric situation here. At a certain point, it got a little bit interesting after queen to h4, going for this pawn, of course. I decided to play queen f3, which was a slight inaccuracy because of f5, and my opponent found it, which was really nice. I played queen g3, thinking, okay, now I can trade queens, and even after, if you take this pawn, I can probably, computer says bishop e4 is fine, and then it's just equal again. However, he didn't take, and he played rook f6, which wasn't the best move because now I could take. And after taking, there is g4, and I'm really happy to find this sequence because now after taking and going, I played rook f1. Apparently, knight f1 is the best move here, to take your knight into these weak squares here. Which is something that I tried to do later by going putting my knight here on h4, and yeah, as you can see, this game was pretty boring, pretty equal until this point where my opponent played played b5. And of course, this is a classic game, so you have a lot of time to think, and you have a lot of time to calculate. And here I found the winning idea, which was very nice, which is taking the knight and afterwards giving a check here on f5 with your knight, and after he moves, you can play bishop c1, which is this sequence is something that I'm really proud of course. I mean, these are the types of games that are that are really, really interesting and really that you can really learn from. I mean, you are working with very small marches here, where you have to make a thing work. You have to find some way to win this game. And I realized that if I take this knight here and take this and go here, I'm attacking this pawn, and there's no other way to defend this except for maybe if he goes... The point is, if I take and go here and he goes here, I think I can just take. Yeah, so he goes here or here no matter what, because he wants to defend this pawn. And upon this, there's even knight here, which is a fork, so you can't do that. So the only move that he has is this, and then I realized after going here, there's just simply no way to protect the pawn. You can't bring the rook. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was very happy to find that, and my opponent kind of missed that, and not that crazy, because it's very difficult to see that, and a very difficult situation. He decided to push h5. I mean, he tried something. I don't think it worked, because I could just take, and he played rook g8. Now I have to find the only move, which is knight h4, which is also really cool, because now there's of course this coordination between these two pieces, and I have the same problem where I am being attacked here, and I have to find one of the only moves that keeps the game going for me, which is knight h4, which is very, very interesting too, because yeah, I mean, even to be honest, after all this, you have to actually find that if he pushes and you take and you play knight h4, you are barely holding on. That's the only thing you have to see, and you have to analyze during the game. I don't think I've seen knight h4 during the game protecting g2. Didn't think that far, but yeah. And here I played one move that wasn't as accurate, which was bishop g5, which was good, but not the best move. And here I played rook x6, which was definitely not the best idea, because now he released some of the tension and he was able to pick up the a3 pawn here. Which brought the game back to a draw, really. I mean, there was not really a whole lot of things going on here. He decided to take. I pushed to c3, which is the only move, because afterwards you have to waste the tempo by going back and taking, and now you can take this pawn because my bishop is protecting it. And at this point it was still just a complete draw. And really here, it was just a draw until pushing here. b4 isn't good. And the point is, you have to play knight e2 as white here. The other move is bishop f8 check. So you can go bishop f8, which is also a move apparently. However, I found knight e2, which is the best move. And after going back, I can give this check. And now this is something that I realized. If he takes, there's a fork. And my opponent took. So at this point, I was able to fork him and push my pawn, and whatever he does, I can always go here and stop his pawn, maybe even bring back my knight somehow. So a very clutch win, but a win nonetheless, and that's very nice, because at this point I had won 3 games and I had lost 1, which is decent, and I've lost against an 1830, and I've won a few games against like 1600s, so very nice. And in the next game, I played another kid, which was rated, I think it was like 14 or 15 or something. And something that I did not know again at the start of this game is that he was a very good player. Not just a good player, a very good player. He was like 2000 ELO or something, 2050 at his chess club. Yeah, this is an interesting one to analyze for me, of course. So we played, I played with the white pieces. And I played this knight c3 line, which I don't really normally do, to be fair. What I usually do is play f3 in the Caro-Kann. However, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll play this line, and I don't go into the what is it? The main line. So I played knight g3, and he played h5. And normally I would always play h4 here, but it was a classical game, and I was like, okay, h4, it is a bit weakening. This pawn is a target in the long run, maybe. I don't know if I want to play h4. Although in hindsight it is not really a target. I mean, I can always play like g3, now it's protected by the rook. If I play knight f3 it's protected, so probably not even a problem if I think about it, but yeah. I decided to not play it and just play bishop c4, and my opponent immediately took advantage of this by going h4, and after going here, it was normal for a little bit, but then he played h3, and yeah, very aggressive, but also very accurate. I decided to take, which is good, not the best move, but it is good. And you can take here, I think, because, I mean, you can maybe, but there is, okay, there's no this. Okay, I was thinking maybe at some point I can sacrifice here, or I can go here maybe. I thought something like this was possible, but it never really was. And here I decided, okay, let's push h4, let's protect this, let's protect this, this pawn with my knight here, of course. And here he played b5, I played bishop b3, he played c5, which is a great move. c5, yeah, just a great move, to be fair. If I take here, if I take here, he takes back with his, he takes my queen, he goes here, he takes back with the bishop, I think, and yeah, I mean, this just looks awful for white. I mean, too many pieces are vulnerable here. I can't castle. I mean, just not very good. I mean, maybe it's drawable, but yeah, just not very good. So I decided to play c3, thinking, okay, if he decides to trade or push and go here and here, I'm very happy. I thought, okay, this looks very good for me. Now a lot of the tension is gone. I can bring my pieces out. I can maybe castle. I was thinking, okay, I can castle long. It should be good, you know, just a fine game. However, my opponent, being a 2000 plus rated player, found the only winning move for black here, which is really annoying to deal with, which I missed during the initial calculation of playing c3 and allowing the push, which is important, of course, because that's the only move for black that wins the game, which is queen d5. And it's a really annoying move because this knight, I mean, I just can't simply defend this knight. There's no way for my queen to get in and defend the knight. There's no way for my rook to get in and defend the knight. There's only one way to defend this knight, which is knight g1. And I have to defend the knight, because if I move it, I lose my queen. So, my rook, of course. So I played knight g1, and here I was like, oops, okay, this might not have been as good as I thought it was. And it wasn't. And my opponent played knight c6, and I decided to play bishop g5, protecting this pawn too, not only with my knight but also with my bishop, and also being able to castle in the long term. And he was just slightly better here, not really a lot better, but yeah, slightly. He played knight e4, I played bishop e3, and now he played b4, which is also a very good move. Computer says it's good and not the best move, but I think it's one of the best moves, practically speaking. I mean, if I take here, I'm probably just gonna lose very badly, because of, I mean, there's this. Now apparently you can go king f1. I mean, yeah. This feels like a bit too much of computer chess to play. Honestly, in real terms, here and here is also a possibility. I mean, it just looks really hard to play that for white. So b4, I decided to play knight e2. Seeing that my knight is no longer threatened, which is something that I could do, because there's no like knight check and then picking up this, and yeah. He decided to play c3, and now I played knight f4, trying to tempo the queen and find some way back into this game. And here is what something funny happened. He played cxb2, which is interesting, because if I take this, you can make a queen, and if I go here, you can take this rook. And although I've won your queen, you've created a new one and you took my rooks. So yeah, that's not something that you want. So after going knight f4 and he took the b2 pawn, I simply took back the pawn. He gave a check. I moved my king to f1, which was now the best move. And as you can see, it is still very equal here. And my opponent played knight d6 here, which was which brought the game even more back to an equal even more back to an equal game. And yeah, at this point I was also very low on time, and my time was becoming an issue. So I decided to play bishop d2, which was not the best move. The best move here is to play d5. I mean, it's also very difficult to see, of course, because there's some ideas here, and if he takes, you can maybe, I don't know, don't really know what the idea is there, maybe put your knight in the center or something. Rook d1 is apparently a good move here. Okay. Well, I mean, very difficult, of course, to see, d5. So I decided to play my bishop black and defend everything and try to hold on. And the game continued for a little bit, shuffling some pieces here and there. He was a little bit better again here. And at a certain point, there was an interesting moment here, which is here. I realized here that I can take this... okay, I realized there's two moves here. I can't do this because there's this, of course, and I lose my queen. So I realized here I have either the option to move back, or I have the option to play h5 and prevent this, and then go for this pawn. And h5 in hindsight is the best move. Yeah, I mean, I played queen d1. I thought h5, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I thought it just became, this pawn became too loose. I mean, I thought I was gonna lose this pawn no matter what happens in the eventually I was gonna lose it. So I decided to play back, and then he played knight d5, which wasn't the best move. The best move was to just give a check with the rook anyways. And here I decided to move my rook, and for some unclear reason I decided to put my king on h1 here, which I'm still a bit mad over, because I mean, why would you put your rook on h1 and block it off indefinitely from any other piece? I don't know, I should have just went king f1, of course, which is a lot better. Yeah. So king h1, which is a bit bad, and now as you can see he immediately tried to take advantage by going queen c6 and looking at this diagonal again, and now I played h5, which wasn't the best move. However, he took the pawn on c3 with his knight, and now I found the best move, which is a very interesting move, which is d5, blocking off the queen and disallowing the queen from taking this knight. And even if you take this rook, which is what he did in the game, I can simply take back the rook and or take back the knight, and your queen is still being attacked and your rook is still being attacked. So it was actually kind of interesting, but after all the trades, I was simply down a few pawns and in a losing endgame. So although I fought very hard and very long and tried my best, at some point I still thought I thought here that I could take this pawn, which I can't because he can simply push it. So it became a lot more difficult at a certain point, and I had to sacrifice my knight, and now I was down a minor piece for a pawn, and he had a double pawns here on the side, so it was still very difficult for him to win this. And I think there were definitely drawing chances for me here, if I look at it. But yeah, the point is, if he takes here, which is what I hoped he would do, then I can take here, and now it should be a draw, because I simply only have one pawn and he has a bishop. And if the rooks are off the board, it is simply just a draw. I mean, there's nothing you can do. So unfortunately, my opponent, being a very good player, played rook f7 and defended his pawn and held hopes for a win here. And the game continued a little bit, and for some unclear reason I also put my king here in a very awkward situation by going onto the h5 square again, which is something that I should not do, because I look at my king, it's completely cut off, it's not participating in the game at all. So yeah, that's something that I should prevent from doing. And to make matters worse, I decided to play king h6 here, which is the only move that you cannot do, because there is rook f5. Rook f5 is a brilliant move, genius to be fair. The point is, even though you give up a pawn, which you think, oh, hey, it's a pawn, your opponent plays bishop f4, and you have to block with your rook, because if you go here, there's this, this, and this, which is a checkmate, because the king cuts me off, and the bishop and the rook work together to deliver checkmate. So I cannot allow myself to step up, I cannot step down because there's a rook, so I have to give up my rook. And yeah, at this point, 2 pawns against a rook and a king, you're not gonna win this. So yeah, unfortunate, but Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. Like I mentioned, my opponent being a 2000 plus rated player, there were some drawing chances here and there for me, but yeah, I just couldn't find the correct ideas, and I couldn't find the correct way to do so. So unfortunate, but very good opponent, of course. And the last game was a very good opponent as well, which is rated around like 1900, I think, like 1890, 1900, 1910. So another very difficult opponent. At this point, I had played 5 games. 3 have been won and 2 have been lost. And this last game was very important to get to the rating where I am right now. Just a very good opponent again. And of course, going for the Caro-Kann, of course. And my opponent here decided to play a gambit in a classical game. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, if you want to, sure, I just take. So I did, and now I'm just a little bit better. And I was like, okay, let's see if you can prove to me that you are indeed as good as you say you are. So we decided to play on for a little bit, of course, and another critical moment here, b5. Of course, I had calculated that if he took, there would be a situation in which I could play, I think it was, let's see, knight d5. I could disallow the fork, and I could at the same time threaten the bishop and maybe look at playing something like this, and yeah. So my opponent had played a gambit, and afterwards he sacrificed a piece for 2 pawns. So I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. Very bold to do that in a classical game, of course. But he is a very good player. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could try that. And he played knight d6. I decided to trade, and I played queen b6 afterwards. He played bishop a3. And one of the things that really that was really annoying in this game is that this rook never really got into the game, because I can never castle because he has a bishop here. So yeah, we got into this position, and here I decided to take the f3 knight, which is the best move. The point is, if you take with the queen, you lose this, which is actually the best move, by the way. And if you take with the rook, there's this incredible knight e5 move, which you cannot take because you're pinned, and I'm simply forking these 2 pieces. Here I looked at a few different things. I looked at bishop c5, for example. However, I can simply take and then move my queen. So that would not work. And there's also other ideas. I don't really remember. What did I look at? Maybe like... don't really remember anymore. But like knight e5 is just generally a very good move. Of course, it's the best move, the only move. Great move. And my opponent decided to just play queen e4, and I decided to trade, and now I was simply up the exchange. And however, still it was very difficult. The point is, this bishop cuts me off completely, and I need to find some way to castle, or at least bring my king to safety. King d7 doesn't really work because of c4, and after going like knight c7, computer says, knight c7, yeah, you can do that. Maybe even here, yeah. It just looks very bad. I mean, a lot of pieces are coming to the attack, and I don't know if I want my king to be on this square. So I decided not to do that, and here I decided to rook d8, and he decided to play rook e1. And now I have knight f6 move, and this pawn is gone because I tempo the queen, and you have to move it, and after moving it there's 2 pieces attacking this pawn. So up until this point everything is going well for me in this game. I was doing very well. Apparently the best move here is to take with the rook. It's slightly better. Yeah, he has to get out of the pin. If he doesn't, if he plays something like this, there's like rook e4 apparently. Yeah, like this. This is obviously something that you do not want because you lose your queen. So taking with the rook was a little bit better. I decided to take with the queen, thinking, okay, I'll just trade off queens maybe. I was thinking, okay, now I can just go here. However, he has queen b5 check, which is honestly really annoying because I can't really step up. I can play like knight here, but this just, I mean, now he just activates his rook probably by going like, I don't know, somewhere here, or rook g1 apparently. Yeah, it still didn't really feel all that good. So yeah, even after being up 5 points in material, I was still not feeling very happy about the position, and I was still having some troubles. So I played queen d7, thinking, okay, maybe I can somehow find a way to reroute the knight and block the square. However, none of that happened, and we got into this position. I decided to just leave my g7 pawn hanging, and if he wanted to take it, he could take it. However, he did not do it. And we shuffled around for a little bit, and eventually he found one annoying thing, is this queen battery here. The only thing I could do to stop it was what I thought was queen c5. There were two ways to stop this: queen h6, and after going king g2, I can go here and I can stop it, which is the best line apparently. However, I decided, okay, maybe after this it is also good for me, because I'm still up a rook for a minor piece. I can move this pawn. I can maybe play here something, get my king out, something to get back into the game. And I decided to try this. However, he declined it for one time, and then he tried it again, and I did eventually go for the queen f6 move. And yeah, at a certain point, it became very difficult again, trying to hold on to everything that I had. And here he went rook a3. Apparently, maybe rook b3 is a little bit better here. Yeah. The point is, of course, you want to infiltrate here. And I even allowed it, which is a mistake, because I should have played, should I have played here? Knight b6, which is a bit of a difficult move to see. The point is, if you take here now, there is queen f5. Yeah, this is a difficult line to see, of course, and you can't take the knight, because then I go queen d5 check, and after going here, you can take. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to calculate, so I did not see that. So I did not play knight b6 and no queen f5, and I decided to just play queen d8. And now my opponent almost got back into the game. However, I found this f5 move, which wasn't the best move, but it was the second best move. And apparently what you have to do here is, okay, he played rook b7, thinking, okay, I can trap the queen, and now you have to go g5 is what the computer says. There's also knight e7. There's also knight e7. Yeah, exactly. Like, I found knight e7. G5 is apparently a move. I don't really understand why. Something to look at. He can't go here because king f7. And after taking and taking, this is holdable for black apparently. However, none of that happened, and I played knight e7, thinking it was the only move to save the game, because after going, I thought, okay, after going here I can block, and now I should be fine, so, which is true. My opponent decided to play bishop c7, which is a mistake, and the only reason this is a mistake is because I have queen a8. And now his rook is pinned, so he has no time to play this and win my rook, or my queen, sorry. So queen a8, a bit of a lucky way to proceed, but yeah, yeah. And now the funny part is, I have time to play f7, and you can't take this because I can take here, and there's no this because I can take. So king f7, very nice move, no way to win the queen, and although my rook is unprotected, your rook is also unprotected if you take mine, so simply winning for me. And yeah, at this point I was winning again, and I won this game, which is very nice, because this opponent, like I mentioned, was like 1900 or something. So the best opponent I had won against, and definitely played very good out of the opening. He decided to gambit and eventually also trade a piece for 2 pawns, which was not the best approach. Although, like, rationally speaking, I think this is a better player than I am, and I think if I played him again, he would win.